Welcome back to the OrganizedPreneur Podcast, where systems and strategy meet simplicity. Why? Because this helps you to launch, host, and grow a podcast that works with your business and not against it. So I am your host, Aldreama Harper, podcast launch strategist and business systems coach for purpose-driven women like yourself, those of you who are listening. So, have you ever noticed how many podcasts seems to be launching with a bang and then they poof, kind of vanish? Well, guess what? That's not your imagination. There's a harsh reality in podcasting that nobody talks about. Most podcasts don't even make it past like the 7th episode. Wow. I mean, that's kind of startling because I can tell you from personal experience that my first podcast, well, it at least made it past 7 episodes because there's 12 episodes out there for my first podcast, Organize Your Enterprise. But again, most don't even make it that far. But the failure, if that's what you want to call it, I hate to call it failure. Let me just rephrase it and say it was a learning opportunity. It wasn't because I lacked passion. And it certainly wasn't because I lacked ideas, because I had a lot of them. It was because they were missing something critical. And that's what we're going to dive into today. And I've shared this with you before about my first podcast. I mean, there were things that I just didn't know about podcasting. And so as a result, I kind of lost steam at about the 12th episode. But I digress because, again, it was a learning opportunity. And so I've been in the podcasting trenches with a few female entrepreneurs. I may not be able to give you an exact number, but the pattern is always the same. It's like there's excitement, yay, launch, a few episodes, then silence. And the deeper issue is not the creativity, not even the marketing. It's a lack of systems. Too many women come to podcasting after hearing it's a great way to build authority and generate leads. And they're not wrong. They invest in equipment and create beautiful cover art and record their few episodes, the first few episodes, but then business demands take over. Recording gets inconsistent. Not even just business demand. Let me just go back to that one because sometimes life gets to lifing. And then planning gets chaotic. And before long, that podcast just joins the rank of the pod fade or the pod faded. This isn't a tech problem. It's an organizational crisis. But here is where the game shifts. AI. AI tools like ChatGPT, Riverside, CastMagic, Northflow, they have completely changed the way smart creators create and produce content. So you might be asking, so what's the problem? Or what's the mistake here? Well, most podcasters use their tools reactively, like you're not being proactive, you are being reactive. And so what successful creators do differently is this. They build AI into their workflow from day one. Yes, they automate transcriptions, they repurpose content into newsletters, social posts, and more. They even use AI to outline episodes before they record. How do I know that? Because that's what I do. This creates a system not just a scattered set of tasks. So when you've got the systems that work for you, podcasting becomes less stressful and way more strategic. You're not reacting. You're not afraid of things falling through the cracks. And let me share something personal here. Well, I share a lot of personal stuff, but anyway, I digress. I didn't get into business because I had all of the answers. I got into business because I had a calling. And back, as far as I can remember, back in like junior high, they used to call me the business lady. Yeah, the business lady. BITNESS. You want to know why? Because I sold snacks from our house. And the other thing was, I used to always carry a briefcase, not necessarily in school, but because I had my first job the day after I graduated from high school. And I used to love carrying a briefcase because it always made me felt like I was a business lady. I don't know what that meant, but that's how it made me feel. And maybe because I knew even back then I was meant to do this. Because even after my first job, which by the way, I was fired after 2 weeks because I was a grocery store, right? And so I wasn't all that good at keeping my cash drawer balanced. But anyway, I digress on that because, I know how to count it now. But anyway, I guess maybe I was just meant to just do this. I was just meant to do this. I was meant to lead. But here's the thing, leadership without structure is a recipe for burnout. And what I learned from years of being a professional organizer is this, that sustainable systems must align with your purpose, not just your productivity goals. I'm going to say that again because I think I kind of jacked up the quote that maybe you might want to write down. Sustainable systems must align with your purpose, not just your productivity goals. And so that is why I built the Launch, Host, and Grow method. Because it's not just about launching a podcast. It's about anchoring your message to your mission and then putting systems around it so that you can stay consistent. Because purpose fuels discipline, and discipline creates momentum. This is so good, isn't it? But let's get super practical here. Here's what thriving female podcasters do differently. I've interviewed some. I've talked to other female podcasters. I've talked to many other podcasters, period. But since most of my audience are female, I'm going to kind of stick with that. But here's what thriving podcasters do differently. They batch content instead of scrambling every week. They repurpose episodes into blog posts, emails, and social posts. They track what matters, like email list growth, book calls, not just download numbers. To me, that's just a little, I don't know, that's like vanity KPI or whatever you want to call it. They treat podcasting as a business system, not just a creative outlet. The podcasters that I coach don't just sound professional. They operate like professionals. And that mindset shifts. It's the shift that makes all the difference. So, industry trends are very clear, because I want to just kind of, end with this. Maybe this will be motivating for you or inspiring for you, because I believe it's time for you to lead. I believe it's time for you to launch that podcast. And here's why. Women are actually dominating the podcasting niche, and for a good reason. We bring authenticity, we bring systems, and we bring purpose. Now, I'm not leaving out my gentlemen listeners, but again, most of my clients and my listeners are female. But here's the thing. When you bring authenticity, and you bring systems and you bring purpose, when you combine all three, you're not just building a show, you're building a movement. And the opportunity is wide open for those of you who take a more strategic approach to podcasting. And the ones who thrive long term, they don't just launch a show, they launch a system. Yeah. So let me ask you, are you podcasting with a purpose and a plan? I'll wait. If you've been struggling to stay consistent, or you're wondering how to actually grow your show without the overwhelm, then I invite you to check out the Launch, Host, and Grow Coaching Circle. The link will be in the show notes. But inside, I walk you through the exact system my clients are now using to go from scattered to strategic client attraction without the burnout. Yeah, I'll walk you through that exact system where they use this process to go from scattered content to strategic client attraction. There was a lot of C's there, so couldn't quite get it all out. So I'm going to put the link so you can check out the free video when you go to this link in the show notes to the Launch, Host, and Grow methodology. Right now, I have a free training. I may take it down at some point, but right now, there's a free training that you will want to watch. And so there you will find out more. Because listen, content is everywhere. You don't need more content. I have enough content for a lifetime. So if you're like me, you don't need more content. You need a system that works. And so, check it out. Launch, Host, and Grow Coaching Circle. The link is in the show notes. Thanks for tuning in to the OrganizedPreneur Podcast. If today's episode resonated with you, then feel free to share it with another powerful female in business who's ready to turn their podcast into a system for growth. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. So, till next time, I want you to stay organized and stay inspired. This is Elma signing off. Have an amazing day.